Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is KATI Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today, we're going to talk about control who sits in your chair. There's no better person to talk about that than over six-figure stylist Jill Buck, who's on stage, part of Masters of Balayage. Let me just tell you, she has an impressive 20-year career in the beauty industry. She has established herself as a skilled colorist, stylist, and groomer. Throughout her journey, she had the privilege of working with a diverse array of celebrity clients and collaborating with renowned artists. Currently, Jill Buck serves as the North America Color Ambassador for Davines, focusing on influencing evolving trends and beauty beyond the salon. Her dedication to excellence drives her to go above and beyond in every aspect of her work, whether preparing for stage events, photo shoots, or collaborations. As a full-time traveling hairstylist, Jill regularly connects with celebrity clientele across major cities, including Nashville, New York, Toronto, Los Angeles, Denver, Dallas, and Boston. What? This woman is a traveling wild woman. I love her. She believes that her non-traditional talent and unique perspective are key to her success in this dynamic industry. Are you all so thankful we are bringing somebody like Jill to the mic to give her insights? How many of your styles are dreaming of a life like this? So now you get to hear from her yourself. Welcome to Beyond the Technique, Jill Buck.
Thank you so much. That was a lot. Sorry, that was a big blurb. But thank you. I
Well,
so appreciate it.
I feel like you've done a lot in the grand scheme of things, kind of in a short amount of time. When you look back, you're like, all this happened in 20 years. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I
Yeah.
want to start. Are you I know you're in California today. Are you a California girl? Tell me how you got your start in the beauty industry and where you're at.
Yeah, that's a great question. When people ask where are you from, I'm like, well, from Oregon, but I have been now in LA for about 12 years. So right after beauty school, got married, had kids, and we were just in a small town and we were young and we were like, we got to do something else. So we moved to the big city of LA, and Rihanna Capri and Nikki Lee, owners of 901 Salon, are really good friends of mine. We went to beauty school together. So we've known each other forever. And they were like, let's go, girl, let's do this. So I've been there from the beginning. So I'm pretty much a California girl at this point, even though my heart is in the mountains always.
I mean, you have such a cool vibe. I want everybody to know, like, if you watch today's show on our YouTube channel, you'll get to see the faces behind the names, which is always so fun, and share this episode with other. You know that your Gen Zs actually want to watch this on YouTube instead of listen to a podcast. So go to the link in our show notes to watch today. Okay, so Jill, you travel everywhere now. So tell me a
I
bit about
do.
your industry journey.
Yeah. So we have always at 901 served kind of a VIP clientele because we're in West Hollywood, and so that's just kind of the area that attracts. You know, we have people who are they will be on press tours, they'll be on movies, they'll have homes in other places, and so we've always been a team who travels to our clientele. However, COVID really shifted that, and California had some of the longest lockdowns. And so we were finding in order to do this clientele, we were able to go back to work at 25%. And that was very difficult to do in salon. So we started doing even more VIP servicing with going to on location to wherever our clients are. So it's kind of something our clientele has gotten accustomed to. They love the treatment and the service that we can still provide, and it's in the comfort of their home. Maybe sometimes it's on, a movie set or a TV show or things like that. So since COVID, I've pretty much been full time. I will be in the salon, a few times throughout the month, and that just depends on what the demand is with the travel aspect. But that's become my priority.
Oh my gosh, it's so neat. I kind of think about if a young child grows up with a superstar rock star parent, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the only life they know. So for
it's the only
you
way I know.
being at 901 Salon, like this is the life you knew from the jump. What
Yeah.
is for people who live in Wisconsin or
Sure.
wherever else? What does that mean? Are these everyday people who want everyday services, or is there something different about how you approach your technique or the way
Mhm.
that you work with them?
Yeah, it's both. I mean, I have clientele that is, celebrity clientele, and then I have just some of the kindest, most generous people as well. They're hardworking women that are like, I don't have the time to come to the salon. It's LA, we fight traffic and all that kind of stuff. So to them, it's a luxury for me to come to them, and they don't have to take as much time for their hair appointment. And a lot of times when I find people, I teach all over the US, and people are like, well, how do I do this? But I don't live in the city. And my answer, I guess, is offer the reverse, right? Like offer to go to the city. And maybe there's just a salon there that you can rent a day from a day or whatever. Or maybe it's your client that lives in the city. And so offer to travel to that city if that's the kind of work that you want to do and the type of clientele that you want to attract. It's definitely what has given me my income levels, is to have that type of clientele who appreciates and can afford the luxury of have someone come to them.
And okay, so logistics, that's a
Hmm.
thing because it's
Yeah,
hard to get around in LA.
it's
What
very
do you
difficult. Yeah,
have to you got to plan your life out for this.
yeah,
How do you
yes.
make that work? And I'm assuming,
Yeah.
alone, like there's some safety things. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of organization. I have an assistant who helps me with my scheduling, helps me, get hair orders in and gets to the hair store and helps me pack my kit and do all that sort of things too. So keeping home base at the salon or at my home, keeping back stock of things like that. And then at this point, like, my clientele is pretty dialed in for who I see. And so I kind of know what to anticipate, right, when I'm going to my clientele's house. But you always want to pack extra things. You never know what can happen, right? It's hair. It is a texture we're working on, so you always want to be prepared. But yeah, usually how it's included is it's almost like a day rate, essentially, is what it is. So if I'm going to spend my day either flying to you or coming to you, it's a day rate plus travel is how the service is booked and then invoiced.
So when you just started out, you were
Mhm.
the assistant for somebody who had this traveling life, or were you mainly in the salon?
So kind of a little bit of both. So because I had already been a stylist with Nikki and Rihanna before, they brought me on as a stylist. But we tend to work together a lot, like in a trio. So like Nikki, Rihanna, and I will handle a lot of clientele together. When Rihanna can't get somewhere, I make sure that I can get there and that sort of stuff. So we definitely have always been shadowing each other and learning from each other. So that way that client feels very taken care of. But in order to get started at our salon, regardless of how long you've been doing hair, we do ask that you come assist. And it's not so that we're like you have to hold the hair this way and do that. It's really just about how we're taking care of that clientele and what the process looks like.
Well, I think that it's kind of a cool opportunity. And
Mm,
there are people that would die to be in this situation. Like, I want to learn, I want to do all the things. Did you
for
have to
sure.
get really good at everything, or you just hone in on a few things and do those few things really well? How did you have to go about the technical aspects of hair?
Yeah. I mean, because I think the older generation of hairstylists like myself, 22 years into this, we learned everything because at the time, to have the specialized servicing, you weren't going to make as much money in cities if you chose to go that route. You needed to be able to say yes to every job that came your way. And And to be fair, I still educate that way. I really like, I love the idea of specialty because it's something you love. But if you're still trying to grow any aspect of your business, I encourage people to learn it all. And there have been some really uncomfortable times for me when I said yes to something and I was not qualified and I needed to just fake it till I make it, and have that confidence to step into a role and a position and do it and learn that technique, whether it's I'm training myself on the go, I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm practicing on doll heads, anything it took so that I could still work those jobs.
Are you seeing that the next generation is willing to do the same thing? Anything it takes to do the job?
It's a great question. It ebbs and flows for sure. And I think that it is not as I find maybe you don't find those people as often as maybe we once did. I think that it comes down to maybe the drive of that individual. I have definitely worked with assistants who are like, I'm willing to do anything, right? To be helping me with certain jobs and projects, knowing that I'm a stylist who will then be handing that clientele off to them at some point. And then sometimes you get people that are like, I don't know, it's Saturday. I think I want to hang out with my friends. And listen, neither is wrong. I think it's just a matter of I'm a mom and I have sacrificed a lot of time away from my kids and my husband for a certain opportunity. And I'm so grateful that they support me in that and understand.
You have high standards, which has
Yeah.
affected what you will and won't do. I mean, when we're talking about
Yeah.
control who sits in your chair, what was it like for you at the beginning, and what does it look like for you now to have control over who sits in your chair?
Who sits in my chair? Yeah, I think being a new stylist, not even new to LA, but just a new stylist in general, I took everything. I took everything because in a way that was my extended education, right? So cutting men's cuts, even if I was like, "Oh, I wasn't really trained in this, but let's figure it out." Cutting and working on all textures. Again, we don't get trained on a bunch of this stuff in school, but rather than shy away from it, I'm like, "Yes, yes, yes" to everyone in my chair, obviously always honest with people about that aspect, so the beginning started very much like that. And then as my clientele started to grow and as I found like how taxing this is physically on your body, how I wanted to try to juggle being a mom and I still wanted to like work in the classroom and I still wanted to do, go to their sports and things like that. I started to realize that I was running out of time in my day. And so running numbers, I was like, I need my dollar amount per hour to be the largest that it can, right? That I'm away. So that way I can get to school pickup or whatever it is. So started realizing it was very important what service was sitting in my chair. So as I started to grow my clientele, brought on assistants that I was extremely comfortable with and all of that, I started to only then take on doing pretty much like full color changes. And I don't even really speak to the language of it's a full highlight, it's a partial highlight, it's this or it's that. It's kind of when that client sits in my chair and they show me an image, it's like, okay, this is going to take me 3 hours to achieve this. This is what it's going to cost. Less of like trying to weasel in the dollar amount of like, oh, well, it's a partial, so we can get this in and still try to achieve that look. It's more like I'm the professional, and this is what it will take to achieve that look, right? So I really was whittling down and doing a lot of my consultations I still do this, the consultation through email. So that's less just talking time in my chair. They're sending me pictures, they're sending me videos, natural light, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the consultation is taken care of before they get there. Again, then maximizing my time in the chair. And I'm doing full transformations, full extensions, things like that, so that my dollar amount is the highest it can possibly be when I'm in the salon.
I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
Can I ask, what's your minimum? Like, I won't even do this unless we are at this kind of starting point.
Yeah, so I would say for color, if I'm not hitting anywhere from 800 to 1,000, and then for extensions, if I'm not hitting anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000, then it's something then that I will, as long as like there's, there's several stylists in salon that are still building clientele. So that's typically who I will put that client with. And then second to that, if it's something like, hey, my longtime client needs a base because she'll come see me for her full balayage, her haircut, her base, right? So now I'm maximizing that. That's going to be the most she's going to pay when she comes in a salon. But her upkeep services, let's say she wants a toner and a base, she's going to see my assistant or another stylist in the salon because that dollar amount is like a third, right? And I just can't and choose not to book my time for that. So I can have more clientele that I'm managing because I'm using that system as well.
I think it's brilliant. Do you ever, in this scenario now, double book, or you don't even need to because you figured it out
Yeah.
with one individual? And what's your kind of schedule look like these days?
Yeah, I would say 901's a little unique in that aspect. We don't typically double book because of the environment. We want our environment to be busy but calm, if that makes sense. Like every chair is always full, but every client is treated as if it is a one-on-one situation. So every now and then, like yes, we might have a men's cut, but we have like a separate VIP room. But we don't ever want our clientele to feel like I got foils in my hair and Jill's over here doing this, and I'm just like a little nervous about the processing time or anything like that. So it doesn't have that kind of energy there. It's like we're taking care and we're charging enough for that. So again, it's clientele that want that experience. Sometimes people want to come in and I will say this about like some of like my East Coast stylists. They're like, man, my ladies they want their base slapped on and they want to walk home wet. And so that is very much this. Some people, that's the experience they want because they see it more maintenance. 901 is meant to be more of like a luxury experience when you come in. And that's just kind of where we started, and that's what our reputation is. So we try not to double book, really.
Well, I was just going to lead into this, the business side of things. You
Yeah.
have created perceived value because your brand stands for
Hmm.
something special and unique, which is this
Yeah.
VIP luxury experience. How
Yes.
long did you kind of personally once you came in, how long did that take for you, or that already established? How long do you feel like that took for the company to really get to that point where it's like, this is what it's like here?
Yeah, not long to be honest, but I also felt like we went into the industry when things were really booming in LA and we had a ton of the young Hollywood. I mean, we had the Julianne Hough, the Nina Dobrevs, the Selena Gomez, Taylor Swift, Hilary Duff, Emma Roberts. Like we just had kind of that when that age group, because it's kind of like our age people, when they were kind of coming up, they were coming to us. So it happened very fast. And let me tell you, we've been through a lot of shifts and a lot of changes to figure out how to navigate that so that we stay original to what the branding is of 901. And we want someone to be able to say, you can see Lindsay, Emily, Jill, or Rihanna, and you're going to get the same experience and the same value. I mean, we're individual artists, obviously, so things are not going to be exact, but your experience is going to feel similar. So if I'm out, it's okay for you to book with Emily. This is how it works here. So it happened pretty quickly, and I wouldn't say that that is normal. I wouldn't. I think that businesses can take 5 years to establish who they are and what their presence is. But you need a team that's willing to work, and you need a team that's willing to work together. And I know this is kind of maybe this doesn't happen as much anymore, but I mean it is like, oh, you need my formula? Here you go. Oh, do you need me to help you put that tap on? Great, here you go. Like it is, it's very much a family unit working and flowing together in the salon.
Gosh, that feels good.
For sure. Makes it easy to go to work.
Heck yeah. And for your assistants, did you hire them and you compensate them, or is that a collective through the company?
Yeah, so it used to be a salon hire, and in 2018, the laws in California changed. So we weren't able to do that anymore. Now it's an individual stylist. We each hire our own assistants. The salon obviously helps promote when we need that and all of that. And then typically, what we ask of our assistants is for them to work with one stylist for a year. Then we're like, you should go work with Lindsay this year and absorb and learn from her. And in the hiring process, we will say, okay, so if you're going to style with Jill, like, no, Jill's on the road a lot. So are you willing to travel? Is that the type of, clientele that you maybe want someday? And then same thing with more like a stylist with Lindsay, who's like, she grinds in the salon and she absolutely crushes. If that's the type of business you want, you should 100% be shadowing her. So
It's so
offering, I guess, all the things.
so everybody is essentially kind of a 1099 individual.
We don't 1099, my assistant's on my payroll.
Gotcha.
If that's what you mean. She's like,
Your
yeah, she's
own
like
individual payroll.
my
So
own individual payroll. Yes, we
okay,
all have our own individual payroll.
yeah.
Hmm.
That is a unique situation probably to California as well, but
Very
this
possible.
this kind of leads into the fact that you have your own business within a business. You are a brand within a brand.
Yeah.
And that has led to you starting something really cool. Tell
Mhm.
us, everybody listening, about
Mhm.
your hair accessory business.
Yeah, so this has been something, creating accessories and designing them has been something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. It's very time consuming to come up with designs and go through the sampling process, finding a manufacturer and all of that. So just within the last, I would say 3 years, I was able to tackle that. And now I've been actually in business for about a year and a half now. So all of my accessories are handmade and they're from the perspective of kind of a hairstylist. What I found and why I created this originally was, well, I would say two reasons. One, what I was finding when I was styling on set and for TV and red carpets is there was accessories that never felt like they were elevated enough to be next to this beautiful dress, right? That a lot of my clients were. So I found that accessories, we were like losing them a little bit. We were losing that like heirloom feel of how beautiful and a simple little accessory can just change everything. And everything was moving so fast fashion and just kind of like too trend hopping almost. And I was like, I really want to try to create that timeless, iconic bow again that we all can have. Honestly, like a bow never actually goes out of style, right? It's just we see peaks and valleys of it within fashion and on runway. And so that's what I started with. And the way that I created it and how it goes into the hair is all from a professional stylist standpoint. And the second piece to that was I was like, what's my end game here? Like my body probably won't, I mean, prayers up, my body lasts me a long time in this industry, but it is, I think every hairstylist can attest, no matter how old you are, it's exhausting physically on your body and emotionally. And so I was like, what will my end game be? Do I want to be 65 still standing behind the chair? And ultimately for me, I don't. Like I was like, I want something else where I still feel like I'm a part of this business forever because I love it. And so the accessory line was kind of that was my goal. That's my vision.
Well, for everybody listening, we have the link in our show notes for you to go get some of Jill's incredible accessories.
Thank
Follow her on
you.
Instagram, check out her website. Everything is there. And I'm curious because Jill, you grinded so hard at the beginning. You said how you
Mhm.
sacrificed time with your kids.
Yeah.
Is it still the same? Like you can't take that work ethic out of this girl, or have you
Right.
found a little more space and time and not having to travel and work and do all the things so much?
Yeah, yes and no. It ebbs and flows for me for sure. And I try to kind of really base that on what does my family have going on. So I have teenagers now at this point. They both play spring sports. That's the time where I'm like, that's when I slow down. My clientele knows that. They're so supportive in that. And if it means I'm going to send someone else that week because my son has a really important baseball game, then that's where I try to manage my schedule. So right now it's fall. I'm working on Dancing with the Stars every single week. I'm managing clientele. I'm traveling in between. So fall's like my heavy hitter. And then again in summer, I try to I'm out of commission for 2 weeks. We take the kids out of the country. We go do something, something that's kind of on their bucket list. So that part of being a hairstylist, I tell young people this all the time. so incredible. You can make this business whatever you want it to be, right? It's like you can be the top of your game, or you can stroll into a salon and work from 10 to 2, still take your kids to school every day, pick them up every day. Like that part of it I think is amazing and so incredible that we can do that.
I feel like we should have led with the fact that you were doing hair for Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And are they wearing your hair accessories?
So I would say not on the show because of the dancing, because it's serious dancing, and it's more costume based stuff that they do and they wear. But I cut and color for a lot of the pros, and so yes, they are very supportive. They always wear my stuff. And yeah, I've been on the show for a long time. I've been working on it for 10 years. And so it is insane the popularity it's gained the last like 2 seasons have been
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Very cool. I have a 3-year-old daughter who just is now eligible at her age to start dance.
That's
So I'm like
adorable.
in it a little bit now.
Yes,
Really cute.
yes. That's
It's fun.
adorable.
So, okay, I'm curious for you where you are hopeful that
Mhm.
this industry will be headed because you are also on stage. You see all these people
Mhm.
that are coming up in the industry. What are you hoping will happen for our industry as a whole in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah. Oh, I love this question. Um, Here's what I find when I'm out teaching. Okay. I was just in Nashville with Masters of Balayage, and a lot of questions for me was I spoke to maximizing that time in your chair, right? And they're like, but Jill, I can only charge $25 for a haircut where I live. I live in the middle of who knows where, right? And I think what I hope for our industry is I don't care where you live or how small your town is. Your talent shouldn't represent the demographic of where you live, because if you are pouring into that talent, then it shouldn't matter where you live. I hope that with social media and press and things like that, that our industry becomes more valued. I think that's really what I hope and pray for all stylists out there, because we are breaking our backs. And like, don't get me wrong, I know we're not saving lives, but we genuinely make people feel so good about themselves. And when you think about, if someone wants to go in and get veneers for their teeth. Okay. Like they don't have to, but they want to. And that service is thousands of dollars not covered by insurance and things like that. But people still do it. And then they want, a flawless, perfect haircut, but they're only willing to pay $25. I'm like, that doesn't feel fair. It's still an art, it's still a craft. And at the end of the day, like, I feel like what you put into this, you should receive back. That's my hope.
I love that hope. And I will be praying that that is also
But
no
that's what
matter what.
happens for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Before we wrap, I would love to hear if you have any final words of just encouragement for
Hmm.
hairstylists, salon owners, all the pros that are listening to today's
Yeah.
conversation. What would you want the message to be for them?
I think that my message is that at the end of the day, whether you're a commission stylist or you're a booth rent or you rent from a suite, you're your own CEO, and you are in charge of giving yourself a better position, right? So right now you might consider yourself you're a director, right? You're a director level. But at the end of the day, you're actually the CEO, and you're the one who gets to make the decisions for your career about how much do you want to be making? How much do you want to be working? And I understand there's parameters within that, but you have to create that for yourself in this industry. It is very much it comes from inside. How much are you going to push, and how much are you going to really strive to be whatever your end goals are, whether it's a financial goal or maybe it's a clientele number you want to hit or a city you want to be working in. You really truly have that power. So that's usually what I tell people is you are the CEO.
Ooh, I love that. Being the CEO of your own life.
Exactly.
Love it.
For
Well,
sure.
thank you so much, Jill Buck, for
Oh my
being
gosh,
with
thank
me
you.
today. You
Oh,
are so special, and it
you're
means
so
a
awesome.
lot that you take the time to be here. So thank you.
Of course. I love it. I'm so honored. Thanks for asking me.
And thank you all for joining us here week after week at Beyond the Technique. If you love this platform, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.